readiness, but they fail of assimilating its principles. Its influence is not abiding. Their service to God degenerates into a form. They come unto thee as a people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people. And they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness. Ezekiel 33:31. The Apostle Paul points out that this will be the spatial characteristics of those who live just before Christ's second coming. He says, in the last days, perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. And so it says here, Satan uses those who claim to believe the truth, but whose light has become darkness, as his mediums to utter his falsehood and transmit his darkness. They are foolish virgins indeed, choosing darkness rather than light. So Laodiceans are the most effective agents of Satan. Why? Because they could deceive both parties. So half-hearted Christians are worse than infidels. Okay? For their deceptive words and non-committal position led many astray. The infidel shows his colors. The lukewarm Christian deceived both parties. He is neither a good worldling nor a good Christian. Satan uses him to do a work that no one else can do. So imagine if you are in a church where there are some agents of Satan right there. What do you think? What will happen to you? By beholding, you become changed, right? You will be contaminated. So, but there are wheat and tares growing together in the churches. But what will God do to these people here? Okay? Now, what will happen if the church becomes lukewarm? If the whole church becomes lukewarm, what will happen? Do you think God could still accept that condition? It says here, if the church of God becomes lukewarm, it does not stand in favor with God anymore. Then do the churches that are represented as having fallen and become the habitations of devils and the hold of every foul spirit and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Those who have had opportunities to hear and receive the truth and who have united with a Seventh-day Adventist church, calling themselves the commandment-keeping people of God, and yet possess no more vitality and consecration to God than do the nominal churches, will receive of the plagues of God just as verily as the churches who oppose the law of God. See, only those that are sanctified through the truth will compose the royal family in the heavenly mansions Christ has gone to prepare for those that love him and keep his commandments. So even though we can call ourselves commandment-keeping people of God, if we don't possess vitality and consecration, we will receive the same as those people who oppose the law of God. This could also apply to us, not only the denomination, it could also apply here, because we will be judged individually. Okay? Now, Revelation 3:16-17, so then because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increase with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. So Laodiceans really do not see themselves. They cannot see themselves. They're blind. They don't know what their condition is. So the only people can know are the people from the outside.
That guy in McAllen, he said, I don't want to know, don't talk to me about spiritual. Remember? In McAllen? He said, we can talk, but do not.
Oh, that was the brother of Matoy, Torts, Bibot Irismas, yeah.
Oh, you saw him?
Yeah, he called me actually, that was a Saturday night, I think.
Oh, so you saw him there?
No, he didn't come there, but he called me only that I would like to treat you to the restaurant, you know. He was, I said, oh, okay, but I don't want you to talk about religion. Nothing, no Bible whatsoever. Oh, okay, it's fine. I mean, we can always agree to disagree, but if you don't want to discuss anything, it's fine. So, but it did not happen though. So, but people, it says here, Laodiceans are blind, a naked, poor, miserable. If we have this kind of condition, we don't also see ourselves. But the only people can see us is the outside. And if those outside do not rebuke us, do not correct us, then we will be bound to death, because destruction is going to be the end, our destiny. So the figure of spewing out from Christ is what? What is the figure? It says here, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Revelation 3:16. The figure of spewing out of his mouth means that he cannot offer up your prayers or your expressions of love to God. He cannot endorse your teaching of his word or your spiritual work in any wise. He cannot present your religious exercises with a request that grace be given you. That is the figure of spewing out. That means your prayers is only up to the ceiling only. That means Christ is not going to bring it to the Father, because remember, Christ is the ladder to the Father. Remember, Jesus said, John 14 verse 6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father except by me. They have to come to Christ. And if Christ is going to say, well, I'm sorry, your prayers is just an abomination. It just goes to the ceiling only. He cannot present that to the Father if we have the Laodicean condition. That's why it's very serious. Now, in the Laodicean church, whose presence is there? Can the presence of Christ be there in a Laodicean condition? It says here the church is in a Laodicean state. The presence of God is not in her midst. So in a Laodicean condition, whose presence is there? If Christ is not there, then Satan is there. That's why we don't go there. We stay home, right? We want to be sure that Christ could be in our meeting place. Because Jesus promised in Matthew 18:20 that where 2 or 3, he is in the midst of them. That's it. But in a Laodicean, no, he cannot be there. That's why we avoid that. Now, where is Christ's presence then if he is not there? Okay, let's read it. Upward Luke 3:15. This is where his presence is. God has a church. It is not the great cathedral. Okay? Neither is it the national establishment. Neither is it the various denominations. It is the people who love God and keep his commandments. Where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Matthew 18:20. Where Christ is even among the humble few, this is Christ's church. For the presence of the high and holy one who inhabiteth eternity can alone constitute a church. So where is Christ's presence? Among the few. That's it. He is not where in the Laodicean condition. He is only with the few people. Okay? That's why Christ said here in volume 6 of the Testimonies 360, paragraph 2 and 3, wherever, I'm just reading the highlight in here, there are as many as 2 or 3 believers, let them meet together on the Sabbath to claim the Lord's promise. The little companies assembled to worship God on his holy day have a right to claim the rich blessing of Jehovah. They should believe that the Lord Jesus is an honored guest in their assemblies. Christ is in the midst. And that's why the words this morning that was being read by Sister Lynn, that in the house of God, we need to also practice reverence, quietness, before or after. That's what it says there, right? Quietness. We don't want to make this place as a marketplace where people will just be, making noise, just like, Sabbath school classes time that everyone is talking, God does not live in the noise. Remember Elijah, right? When he went to the cave, he thought that God is going to be in the lightnings, in the earthquakes. No. Where was Christ actually? Where was God? In the small voice. That's it. That's why it says the little companies assembled, God is there. Okay? So tares are growing in the churches. Now, people today think that just remain in the church because the tares will leave from the churches. Do you think the tares will live from the wheat? According to this statement, Spalding and Migan, 191, there are tares growing among the wheat, and too often the tares overtop the wheat. That means there's so much of them. So there is no way that they're going to live. They will stay there, and they're trying to conquer the whole atmosphere in the church. That's the purpose of the enemy. He wants to have them all together, okay, as one. So there's no way that the tares are going to get out. They will. That's what the word that I hear all the time. That stay, because the bad will leave. The bad people will leave. Only the good people stay. No, it says here that too often the wheat, the tares overtop the wheat. That's it. So since the tares are already in the churches, when will the wheat be harvested or be separated? So there's going to be a time that God's people who are honest, who have the wheat spirit, they're going to be harvested. But they will be harvested only when they are being ripened. Okay? When they're being ripened. Now, when is this? This is going to be the focus of our study today. That when is going to be the wheat be harvested? People think that the harvest will only be when Christ comes. Okay? Is there a harvest going on right now?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you. Okay, what causes the harvest? Why there is a harvest? Why there's a harvest of people from different churches and they come to another denomination? What caused that? Because of the message being sent. So if there's a message, there's always a harvest, right? There's always a harvest. So do we have a message today? Yes, there is a message today. So it says here in verse 30, let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares and bind them in bundles. So gather the tares, bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. When is the harvest? According to the verse 39, the harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. Now, what does the world means here? Because the harvest is the end of the world. The world here, okay, let's look at these quotations. Verse 40, that the end of the world is actually when the tares are gathered and burned in the fire. This is actually after 1,000 years. There's another text actually that the world actually means an age. Okay, hopefully right here. Okay, the word world here in G165 means ion, which means an age. This is in the Strong's Concordance, G165. An age, which is a messianic period, whether present or future. That means the harvest, which is the end of the world, and the world means it has to do with the Messiah. Who is the Messiah? It's Christ. It has to do with Christ's work in the most holy place. Now, where is Christ right now? He is actually in the most holy place. That means this harvest has to do with his work in the most holy place. And the reapers are the angels, okay? The reapers are the angels. Now, okay, let's go further. Now, according to Jeremiah 8:20, the harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. Why? Because people are looking for the future harvest when there is a harvest going on right now, okay? There is a harvest going on. So during the harvest, reapers are hired. And who are the reapers? It says they're angels. Angels are being hired. Now, which angel though? Remember, there are 3 angels in Revelation 14. So reapers are being hired. According to verse 38, the reapers are angels. Now, which angel? Early Writings 1:18, I then saw the third angel, said my accompanying angel, fearful is his work, awful is his mission. He is the angel that is to select the wheat from the tares.